Questions 11 through 20 on the 2017 Grade 11 Fermat Math Contest. Last Thursday, each of the students in M. Fermat's class brought one piece of fruit to the school. Each brought an apple, banana, or orange. In total, 20% of the students brought an apple, 35% brought a banana. If 9 students brought oranges, how many students are in the class? Apple, banana, and orange. So 20% brought an apple, 35% brought a banana, and 100 minus these two, which would be 45%, brought an orange. And they're telling me that that number is 9. So that means 0.45 of the total number, which I will call x, is equal to 9. And therefore x is equal to 9 over 0.45. And when you do that math, you get 20. So the total number of students in the class is 20. And just for the sake of completion, 35% of that would be 7. 20% of 20 is 4. And clearly 4 plus 7 plus 9 is 20. So it all adds up. Number 11, therefore, the answer is D. Digits are placed in the two boxes, box, with one digit in each box to create a 3-digit positive integer. In how many ways can this be done so that the 3-digit positive integer is larger than 217? Well, the smallest is 200, and the largest would be 299. So 217 is here. So basically, any integer that's bigger, so those would be 218, 219, and so on, right? So we have to count these. So it would be 299 minus 217, and that is 82. And that makes number 12 B. In the diagram, P lies on the y-axis, Q has coordinates 4, 0, and PQ passes through the point 2, 4. What is the area of OPQ? Well, that is 4, 0, so that is 4. It's pretty straightforward. Now we have to figure out that. Okay. Well, we can figure out the equation of this line right here because we have 2 points. That equation will be y is equal to mx plus b. And if we substitute the first one, the first point, we get 0 is equal to 4m plus b. If we substitute the second point, we get 4 is equal to 2m plus b. And if we subtract these, we get negative 4 is equal to 2m, and therefore m is equal to minus 2. That means y is equal to minus 2x plus b. Now we have to figure out b. We can easily do that by substituting one of those points. And that gives me 0 is equal to minus 2 times 4 plus b. And therefore, b is equal to 8. Right? So y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. All we have to do now is figure out that coordinate. That's basically when x is equal to 0. When x is 0, that's 8. So this point right here is 0, 8. And therefore that distance is 8. So the area of that triangle, 1/2 base times height. The base is 4, the height is 8, and that looks like 2 times 8, which is 16. So number 13, the answer is E. This expression is equal to, all right, so 1 plus 1/2, when you do that, it's 3 over 2. 1 plus 1/3, that's 4 over 3. 1 plus 1/4 is 5 over 4. 1 plus 1/5, 6 over 5. 1 plus 1/6, 7 over 6. 1 plus 1/7, 8 over 7. 1 plus 1/8, 9 over 8. And finally, 1 plus 1/9 is 10 over 9. And then these 3's cancel, these 4's cancel, 5's cancel, 6's cancel, 7's cancels, 8 cancels, 9 cancels. The only thing you're left with is 10 over 2. And 10 over 2 is equal to 5. So Pretty cool question. Number 14, the answer is A. In the diagram, M is the midpoint of YZ. XMZ is 30 degrees, and angle XYZ is 15. The measure of angle XZY is? Well, M is the midpoint, so that means those two are the same. And XMZ, so this is 30 here, and then that means that's going to be 180 minus 30, so that's 150, that angle. This angle, they have told me, is XYZ, and that's 15. Well, I can easily figure out that. That's going to be 180 minus 150 minus 15, and that's 15. Well, since that is equal to that, that means this side is equal to that side. And therefore, this side is the same as that side. So if this is, let's say, theta, that's going to be theta. So that means 30 plus theta is 180. And therefore 2 theta is equal to 150. And therefore theta is 75 degrees. And that's XZY. So number 15, the answer is A. If x plus 2y is 30, then the value of this expression is? Well, let's get it all into the same denominator. I think that's 15. So that'll be 3x plus 10y plus 6y plus 5x. And that looks like 8x plus 16y all over 15. Factor out the 8, and you get x plus 2y is 15. X plus 2y, they gave me, is 30. So that's going to be 8 times 30 over 15. And that's 8 times 2, which is 16. Number 16, the answer is 16, and that's choice B. Aaron has 144 identical cubes, each with edge length 1 centimeter. He uses all of the cubes to construct a solid rectangular prism, which he places on a flat table. If the perimeter of the base of the prism is 20 centimeters, what is the sum of all possible heights of the prism? Well, let's see here. We've got some sort of a prism here, and I'll just draw it. And they're basically saying that the base, we'll call it x, y, and y. That base has a perimeter of 20, so that means 2x plus 2y is equal to 20. And therefore x plus y is equal to 10. And then we obviously have to put in a height. And what are they saying? 144 identical cubes, each with edge length 1. So each of those cubes has a volume of 1 times 1 times 1, obviously, which is 1. So if you put 144 of them together, the volume would be 144 times 1, which is 144. So the volume is going to be x times y times h, and that has to be equal to 144. Okay, well, let's see how we can proceed here. Let's just make a table and fill in that table, and let's see what kind of values we get. And keeping in mind that x plus y is 10. So let's start with 1. All of these lengths, x, y, and z, must be integers because the sides are made up of these cubes, and each cube has edge length 1. So 1 cube, 1 centimeter. So that way we know that x, y, and h are all integers. So the smallest x could be is 1. If x is 1, then y must be 10 because x plus y is equal to 10. So now we have to look at this right here and see. It will be 1 times 9 times h is 144, and that means h is 16. Well, there we go. That's an integer. So you do the same thing. If x is 2, y therefore would be 8. So this time you'd have 2 times 8 times h is 144. H calculates to be 9, and so on, right? So if it's 3, it's 7, but you don't get an integer value. If it's 4, it's 6. This does give an integer value. It gives 6. And then if it's 5, it would be 5, but there's no integer value here. 6, 4, 6. and then 7, 3, no integer value, 8, 2, 9, and 9, 1, 16. So the possible heights, possible values of h, are 16, 9, and 6. And they want you to find the sum of those. Okay, so that's 16 plus 9 plus 6, and that is 31. So number 17, the answer is A. For any positive real number x, x bracket denotes the largest integer less than or equal to x. For example, 4.2 bracket is 4. Bracket 3 is 3. If x bracket times x is equal to 36 and y bracket times y is equal to 71, where x and y are both greater than 0, x plus y is equal to. So any such number, for example, let's just use what they gave me, 4.2, is equal to the integer part plus the decimal part. Right? Just like that. So if you were to take that number and do the bracket, it just gives me 4. So x and y, we have no idea what they are at this moment. So I'll just, again, I'll give it the integer part and then the decimal part or fractional part. And very similarly, y, I will give it a integer part and then a fractional part. So now let's work with these equations that they gave me. So it would be a plus f1 bracket times a plus f1, and that is equal to 36. So that's the first one here. Now, a plus f1 bracket, that's just a, because you just take the integer value, and then you're multiplying by a plus f1, and that's equal to 36. When you multiply this out, you get a squared plus a f1 is equal to 36. All right, so we have two variables, but we only have one equation, so we have to do a little bit of inspection here. If a is equal to 5, can this work? Well, it would be 5 squared plus 5 times f1 is equal to 36. So that would be 25, and therefore 5f1 would be 36 minus 25, which is 11. Now, what is f1? f1 is the fractional part. So the largest f1 could be, for example, as 0.999, right? Even if you put in the largest possible value for f1, there's no way 5 times f1 would ever be 11. So that means that a cannot be 5. A must be 6, right? A is an integer, and that's the only integer that's going to work. When a is 6 and f1 is 0, you will clearly be able to see that that will work. All right, so we established that. So therefore, x is equal to a, which is 6, and f we have established as 0. So x is just 6. Now we have to do the same thing, but this time for y. And that's this equation right here. All right, so we've got b plus f2 bracket times b plus f2, and that is equal to 71. Well, this part here, that's just b, and then this part, of course, is b plus f2, and let's expand that. We get b squared plus f2b is equal to 71. Again, we got to use inspection here. So the closest perfect square to 71, I think, is 8 times 8, which is 64. So I'm going to see if that works, if let b equal to 8. That would make this 8 squared plus 8 times f2. So let's see here. 8 times f2 would be 71 minus 64, which is 7. And therefore f2 is 7 over 8. And is that a fraction? Sure, of course it is. So I therefore conclude that y is equal to b, which we have established as 8, and f2, which is 7 over 8. And they want me to figure out x plus y. Okay, that's going to be 6 plus 8 plus 7 over 8. And when you do that whole fraction, 14 plus 7 over 8, and that is 119 over 8 as a fraction. So number 18, the answer is B. A point is equidistant from the coordinate axes if the vertical distance from the point to the x-axis is equal to the horizontal distance from the point to the y-axis. The point of intersection of the line x equals a with the line 3x plus 8y is equal to 24 is equidistant from the coordinate axes. What is the sum of all possible values of a? Let's draw our coordinate axes and try to get an understanding of what we can possibly do in this question. If something is equidistant, then pretty much that I can conclude that it is on the line either y equals x or the line y equals negative x, though any point on those two lines will be equidistant from the x-axis and y-axis. So that is my conclusion. Now we have been given this equation, 3x plus 8y is equal to 24. So we can easily plot that. When x is 0, that would mean y is 3. So let's just say here. And when y is 0, x is 8. So approximately here. So that's going to be that line. Let's just connect those. So now, where do the lines y equals x and y equals minus x intersect with that line? That line being this one. You can clearly see there's one intersection point here, and the other intersection point is right there. So if I could find those two will represent my a's. The first a will be basically this intersection point. It will be that a. And the next a will be this intersection point right here. So that's what we have to do, to figure out this a and that a. Okay, so the first one is the intersection between y is equal to x and this equation. So that's easy. You can just substitute y equals x. So it'll be 3x plus 8x is equal to 24. So 11x is equal to 24, and therefore x is equal to 24 over 11. So this is 24 over 11. Okay, the x value, since this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Now we have to figure out the other one. That's when y is equal to negative x, that line, and 3x plus 8y is equal to 24. Well, y is equal to negative x here, so we substitute negative x, and that equals 24. So this is minus 5x is equal to 24, and therefore x is equal to 24 over negative 5. Okay, so that means this a over here is 20 or negative 24 over 5. They want you to find the sum of the possible values of a. All right, well, that sum will be 24 over 11 minus 24 over 5. And let's get a common denominator. Let's see here, 5 and 5, 11 and 11. So that is 120 minus 240, 264 over 55. And that is minus 144 over 55. And that's it. So 19, the answer is B. If m and n are positive integers with n greater than 1 such that m to the power of n is equal to 2 to the power of 25 times 3 to the power of 40, then m plus n is m to the power of n is equal to 2 to the power of 25 times 3 to the power of 40. Well, what I can do is I can break up that 3 to the power of 40 into 3 to the power of 25 times 3 to the power of 15. That allows me to combine those two since the exponents are the same. So it'll be 2 times 3 to the power of 25 times 3 to the power of 15. So this becomes 6 to the power of 25 times 3 to the power of 15. And then we do this again. Break up the 6 into 6 to the power of 10 and 6 to the power of 15 times 3 to the power of 15. That allows me to combine these two since the exponents are the same. So it becomes 6 to the power of 10 times 6 times 3 to the power of 15. So that gives me 6 to the power of 10 times 18 to the power of 15. All right, let's keep going here. Do the same thing again. So this time I will break up that 18 to the power of 15 to 18 to the power of 10 times 18 to the power of 5. These bases are the same, exponents are the same. So I can combine them. 6 times 18 to the power of 10 times 18 to the power of 5. 6 times 18 is 108 to the power of 10 times 18 to the power of 5. All right, again, let's break up that 108 to the power of 5, 108 to the power of 5 times 18 to the power of 5. Well, I've got all the exponents the same, so I can combine them. 108 times 108 times 18, all to the power of 5. And 108 times 108 times 18 is 209,952, and that's all to the power of 5. And this basically represents my m to the power of n. So they want me to figure out m plus n. Well, m is 209,952, and n is 5, so m plus n would be 209,957. 209,957, number 20, the answer is C.